Hello. It's us. It's time for the podcast. Thanks for being here. 2 more days, a day and a half, a little bit, maybe even tonight, depending on when you're listening to this.
Oh man, hey, it's this the
Podcast time.
Hey everybody, yeah, hey, all right, yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is true. T-minus however many hours until the Switch 2. Still plenty of time to take your Switch 1 and throw it in the trash because you're not going to need it anymore. It's old news now. I was in Target yesterday and they're already putting accessories for the Switch 1 on clearance. Get yourself some cases and some gully
Get a Pro Controller.
Yeah.
Get a Pro Controller. Yeah. It's like basically the same. I'm still trying to see if the D-pad's different. And I just read like a review that was like, do you even need a Switch 2 Pro Controller? And it was like, it just ignored the D-pad completely. Just didn't mention it all. The thumbsticks are better.
Yeah, okay.
But that's all we know.
That's interesting because like I'm seeing a lot of previews for the device, but I was just reading Video Game Chronicles, no official reviews of the hardware or software on launch day.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo has like embargoed everybody out the wazoo.
Yeah, that's interesting because does that mean that they were given a Switch 2 from Nintendo but are not allowed to post the review yet?
Probably.
Because if that happened, I would say, no, thank you. I'll just buy it.
Yeah.
You know?
I
mean, I'm not allowed to post anything about it. Like, that's absurd.
Yeah. According to the company spokesperson, Nintendo decided not to send Switch 2 review units to press ahead of launch because important features and updates will only be available via a system update on the day of the console's official release on June 5th.
So I did hear about that.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think
about them not giving it to reviewers.
That's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's not. What that does is by not giving it to reviewers, that means like they don't have time to like look at the thing, put it through its paces, see what it's about, and then have enough time for them to formulate that into words or a video to give their honest opinion on the product. And in turn, that does. I mean, well, present company excluded, but it gives like the audience. It doesn't give them an opportunity to see what the whole thing is about.
Well, they can still do that. They just don't get to do it before launch.
But that's the problem because like the earlier the better, and now they have to. Everybody has to scramble to be the first to market with their impressions on the system, with the games. Not to mention, and we'll get into this. It's Summer Games Fest this week, so now they have to cover that as well as rush to get Switch 2 information out the door.
My biggest concern is that the initial impressions will not have the whole story, and that's what people are going to see right out of the gate.
Okay.
And that is a little concerning.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it's just a level playing field for everybody. The people who are going to get it on launch day they're buffs anyway. They're the people who are going to be really interested in it anyway. So people who are wondering whether or not they want it should definitely wait.
Yeah.
There's no reason for them to line up on launch day for it, So for them, it's worth taking an extra couple days. The problem, again, is just that the initial reviews are not going to paint the whole picture. And a lot of those people who are doing initial reviews might lean more favorable because they don't know, they haven't gotten to some of the flaws yet, or they're people who are already really excited about it because they were excited enough to get it on launch day.
Well, you can also get the fact that like, somebody takes a look at it, they rush to get their initial impressions out the door. They do a shoddy job of it and they miss key features and whatnot.
That'll be me.
Yeah, that'll be you. And then somebody else who will like take their time and like do a good thorough review and like point out all the pros and cons more professionally. Their review's not going to get seen because your shitty ass review's going to get out the door first.
So, on the other hand, though, I've been on both ends. I've gotten review units, and never from Nintendo, but I've gotten review units, and I've had to have purchased it myself.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to lean more towards wanting to pay the money for a retail unit because a lot of times the review unit. Sometimes it's broken. It comes fucked up. It's not the full. Or even the review unit is not the full story.
Yeah.
Sometimes the review unit is better than the retail unit. Sometimes there's problems in acquiring the product that you don't know about if you get a review unit. Sometimes it's, in the case of the Ally, the Asus ROG Ally, it came set up already.
Yeah.
So I missed part of the setup process, you know? So like even a review unit doesn't tell the full story. So on that hand, I kind of think it's in some regard better that no reviewers are getting the Switch 2 because people who want it already know that they want it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's just that the initial couple of reviews are going to be not telling the full story and going to be a little skewed. So there's two sides to it, I think. And you need to take into account all of the different sides.
Mm-hmm.
Reviews aren't for early adopters. They assume they'll get those who watch later. Yeah, and they should be able to take their time on it.
Well, I think also too, like the Switch 2 is like an extreme circumstance. Like if you pre-ordered it, you know you're getting it. You were going to get that thing sight unseen, and then you knew if you were going to wait for it. But like, you know, take something like a video game, like just a regular video game release. This happens all the time. They don't send review codes out to press before launch. So they go out, they buy the game sight unseen based on the hype for it. And then they play the game and it's garbage. And then all of the reviews come out later saying like, oh yeah, by the way, this game is garbage. And we couldn't tell you because Ubisoft wouldn't let us.
Yeah, there's a lot of examples of games not allowing reviews early because the game sucks.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that could be the case here. It's most likely.
I doubt it's the case here.
Yeah, most likely what's happening is they haven't finished the firmware update.
Which is incredible to me because, like, we're seeing, like, you played with it already. Like, we're seeing, like, demo.
I played with it, but I wasn't allowed to go to the home screen at all. It just didn't work. The home button just didn't work.
Okay.
So there's some issues.
Yeah.
Is Will's audio off?
Is it?
Is that what's happening? Well, too bad. I don't know how to fix it. Mid-show.
Will's camera is off a little bit.
I know. Does that mean the audio? Also, Griffinick says, yeah, but that's for Chinese handhelds regarding them coming broken or the review units being broken or the review units being better than the regular units.
Right.
I was referring to the Asus ROG Ally, which is
it's like when melt SD cards.
There's that. But they're making an Xbox handheld, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
So if that also that's not Chinese, it's like Taipei or something.
Yeah.
So that if that constitutes as a Chinese handheld, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Also, isn't the Switch made in China? Can't hear Will? All right, you're all just wrong. I can see his levels go up.
If you can't hear me,
they can hear you. Just you know what? This guy's getting a timeout.
Okay.
You're not allowed to say the wrong thing right here. I'll work on it later. We had a little bit of an audio issue when the preview was going on. I didn't realize the interface just wasn't plugged in.
That would do it.
Anyway, we got a lot of Switch 2 stuff to talk about because it is the week of the Switch 2. We don't have it yet. By the time you're watching this, I might have it. And if I do, then there's probably a video on youtube.com/wolf. If you are subscribed to youtube.com/wolfden, then you will know already that I posted a video. If you are not subscribed to this channel, what the fuck are you?
Yeah, get on that.
This is not the Wolf Den.
Yeah.
It's a completely different
This is the podcast channel. For the podcast.
Anyway, I think I reset Will's camera, by the way, while I was vamping. There's a bunch of Switch 2 stuff. Should we start with NVIDIA? He just said a bunch of shit.
Yes, we'll start with NVIDIA boss Jensen Huang has taken the opportunity to detail the innards housed inside the portable console in a new creator's voice video from Nintendo. Much of it is what you'd expect to hear. According to Huang, the computer chips inside the Switch 2 are a technical marvel, allowing it to be the most powerful portable console ever. On a more sentimental note, though, he discussed what it was like working with the late Satoru Iwata, Nintendo's beloved former president. I still remember the day Iwata-san shared his dream with us. He said of the first Nintendo Switch, he wanted to create something no one had seen before, a console powerful enough for big cinematic games, but small enough to be taken anywhere. It sounded impossible, but that vision became the original Nintendo Switch. We lost Iwata-san before launch, but his clarity, his purpose, it still inspires our work today. Together, we poured everything into that system. Huang goes on to say that NVIDIA spent the equivalent of 500 engineer years to develop the tech that powered the Switch 1.
What does that even
mean? I don't know.
What's an engineer year
Yeah,
compared to a regular
is
human
that like a
year?
dog year? Like, what is that? Now he says the Switch 2 takes things to the next level through advances like full hardware ray tracing, dedicated AI processors that sharpen, enhance, and animate gameplay in real time, and ultra low power through optimized semiconductors, through an optimized semiconductor process technology for high performance. The NVIDIA CEO claims that this has led to the most advanced graphics ever seen in a portable device. The Switch 2 is more than a new console, Huang says. It is the next chapter worthy of Iwata-san's vision.
That's good.
So, yeah. I mean, if you really think about it, when the Switch 1 came out, like, there really was nothing like it at the time.
No, it opened the door for it blew open the whole handheld industry. It spawned all of these wacky hands. Even when the Switch 1 was out or coming out, there were barely any emulation handheld.
Yeah.
There wasn't even any of those.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo had a pretty good handle on handhelds, like at that time. But since they merged their two markets, it left open some pockets of other little markets. And PC makers or manufacturers were like, we could
do that.
Like
yeah,
and make it more powerful and cooler.
Yeah, I mean, just like they said, like the big cinematic video games, like in a portable form. I mean, sure, we look at it and be like, well, you know, Doom on the Switch doesn't look or run as well on Doom on my $4,000 PC, but like most people don't care.
No,
to them it looks like the same game.
In that moment, we didn't have a way to play it
on the toilet
at all.
Yeah,
like not even a little bit. We could bring a laptop, but even this, I mean, this is a MacBook, but this is small compared to the laptops that would run Doom at the time.
Right.
You know?
And, you know, those things get hot and you'd burn your lap.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was completely unique. No one had any idea what it would be like to have a hybrid console like that.
Yeah.
And people were very curious what the thing was at all. So there was like a ton of hype around it. Now everybody has a general understanding of what a Switch is, that you can dock it and play it in your living room, or you can play it on the toilet.
Yeah.
So now the Switch 2 just is an extension of that same idea. And a lot of people are upset that it's not different enough. I love the idea that it is just an extension of the thing we already like.
Yeah.
The big major gimmick and difference is mouse mode. That's the one that I would say is doing something. It's taken the Switch, and this is now the new gimmick that is different.
Well, I would say that's like the more out there gimmick.
Yeah.
Like the weird, wacky one that like draws you in. But I would say like the actual gimmick this time around is game chat. Because Nintendo invented a way to chat with your friends while you play video games.
And no one's ever done that before.
No one's ever done it before. But like from the previews I'm seeing, the way they integrated it was like very like easy for a Nintendo online infrastructure. You just hit the button and it pops up, and it's got all these like filters you can do.
That gives me hope that they revamped everything.
I think the pandemic, like because everyone was playing online and like Animal Crossing was such a big hit for them at that time, I think it showed them that like online play like is a big deal after 30 years of it being a big deal.
And that their current infrastructure and the way that they built online for the Switch 1 was not sustainable.
Yeah.
The pandemic happened, and they were like, oh, we do not have a foundation for this type of gameplay.
Yeah. So I think for them, like that's going to be like the true push of the Switch 2.
It's like how, so we always talk about how each console generation has a defining feature.
Yeah.
The Xbox 3, well, what was the online generation? Was it Xbox 360?
So I guess Xbox One, Xbox Original, and PlayStation 2, like that was the first era to go online.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have defined that era by.
No, so then the 360 and the PS3, that's when like console gaming really went.
That was on the online multiplayer generation.
Yeah,
and I think that the Switch 2 is Nintendo entering that generation. Because now there are just so many more tools for playing the game online with other people. You have the game chat, which is something that every console has had since the Xbox 360.
Right, but Nintendo thought of it first.
Right. I'm hoping ways to easily join other people's games. Like right now, you have to type in someone's friend code to just send them an invite, or it needs to be built into the game.
Yeah.
They don't have really a way to do it on the like operating system level, or if they do, it's fucking stupid. So a lot of those little features need to be fixed on their online. Also, the net code that all of their first party games use is just absolute trash.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that that's fixed on the new version of the Switch 2 games. Anyway, JS World says, do you think we will get free updates for third-party titles that are already on the Switch and get an upgraded update for games like BioShock Collection? Well, we can tell you about one game that is a first-party-ish.
Yes.
Second-party? Pokemon?
Yeah, I guess that's a second party.
We can tell you about that. We only have details for this one game.
Well, we have details for like other first party games.
Okay, we have details for other.
We covered a couple weeks ago. Like some of the games are getting free updates for like HDR and faster refresh rate. Mario Odyssey, Splatoon, I think, a couple other games. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. We don't really know what third parties are doing. I think that's going to be up to the individuals. You know, whether or not.
I thought this was Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, this article that we had here.
No, this is Pokemon.
Pokemon ZA.
Legends
Never
ZA.
mind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was off base. I did hear about a game. No, I did hear about. Okay, maybe I could find the tweet. I did see a tweet that was directly comparing the upgrade from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Okay.
And I probably didn't like the tweet because I thought it was a little misleading. The frame rate definitely looks better. It looks like it's a true 60 versus a really rough 30.
Yeah.
However, the game capture for the old Switch is washed out. And that just means that they didn't capture it correctly. so I don't think that like it's suddenly just going to be brighter. I think that they just like purposely made it look bad, you know. But here's the tweet. Chris Mack over here with this is not the one, but it's this looks more reasonable.
Right.
The difference. Can you tell which one's which? Yeah, you gotta look here. Don't read it. I could tell.
Left. Getting my mic. Left is the update.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just the frame rate. I mean, it does look brighter. Honestly, it looks whiter. It looks like it looks like the highlights are.
You gotta look at their feet. The smoothness in the feet running.
The character model is definitely choppy on the right hand side. Yeah. This looks like a better comparison than the one that I saw. The one that I saw again was washed out and looked worse. This one, the colors do look different, but it's not as egregious.
Yeah.
It could also just be you get more color information.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the other one was very clearly captured poorly.
Yeah.
So that is just Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. In terms of other games getting updates, I could have sworn I heard about one getting a free update.
Yeah, we did. We talked
a third party game. Yeah, but I can't remember it. I did see that. I think Sonic X Shadow Generations wants you to buy the whole game again.
Oh, that's weak.
That's the rumor I heard. So that would be lame.
Yeah. I found Polygon tried out Game Chat. Entering Game Chat, users are presented with two options: starting a chat session where you'll invite friends into your group, or joining an existing chat that you've been invited to. Game Chat feels carefully cornered off because you have to approve your existing friends to have access to your circle of chat friends. While in Game Chat, it's easy to tailor your experience to your liking, again by pressing the C button. While the default view of Game Chat is a smaller version of whatever you're playing on Switch 2, with 4 other camera feeds separated across the bottom, you have the option to increase the size of your personal screen, shrinking the others, or turning off the other video feeds altogether. You can also choose to mute your personal audio and video, or turn off other players' screens to avoid spoilers. Better still, if you're trying to focus while still being social, Game Chat Audio supports speech to text and text to speech. The Switch 2 even supports
cool.
USB keyboards. So
that's really good.
You can play your game and then you can tippity tap away.
Tippity tap away. That might be one of the first things that I try when I get it. I want to try mouse mode. I want to try to plug in a mouse. I want to try to plug in a keyboard, and I guess I should download Fortnite. And I want to try to plug in a camera. So this week's video is going to be me just unboxing and impressions. Next week's video, I'm going to do one of those 9 ways to get the most out of your Switch.
Yeah.
And that'll probably be more like trying like a keyboard and a mouse and a camera, so that I could be like, look, you don't need to buy their camera. You can just use whatever camera you want. So I'm very interested to see if like a game like Fortnite will just let you use a regular mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
That could be really cool. We also, Sharts in a Jar. Sharts in the Air. I don't know if that's better or worse. He sent an article about Sonic X Shadow Generations, and it's been confirmed there will be no upgrade path for Switch 1 owners looking to get the Switch 2 version of Sonic X Shadow Generations. That sucks and is stupid because the Switch version is the worst version of that game. So that's fucking lame. That sucks.
I will. Hogwarts Legacy and Civilization 7 are charging $10 upgrades.
I did see that. Yes. So Hogwarts Legacy, I don't know about Civ, but Hogwarts Legacy seems to have a substantial upgrade.
Yes.
At least, visually. It's the same game, but
visually and
you're getting a completely different version of the game. So I understand a little bit. Also, it was cheaper, wasn't it? The Switch version wasn't it?
I think
cheaper?
so.
So I'm not like that upset about that.
Yeah.
I'm more upset about Sonic charging for the whole thing. Weirdly, like, I made a big stink from the Xbox One to Xbox Series generation because some games were free to upgrade, but a lot of them were charging like $10 for the upgrade.
On Xbox, there was smart delivery.
Yeah, but a lot of third parties were like being weird about it.
Yeah.
Remember?
True.
And PlayStation was all over the place too.
Yeah.
And that was really upsetting to see that. But these days you have the $60 to $70 increase that we saw. Also, we're going from Switch 1 to Switch 2, which is like a huge jump.
Yeah.
You were getting completely different. It would be like having the Wii version of a game.
Yeah.
And then getting an Xbox 360. You know? And then it's a totally different game. You're going from a mobile port to a home console version.
Yeah.
So like I'm a little more open if the game is substantially different. If it's built for a completely different architecture. I completely understand charging for it. I'm also interested to see how these games are going to emulate if I'm playing a Switch 1 game.
Well, there's that list where like Nintendo's like testing every 15,000 games and whatnot.
I want to know if it's going to feel like I'm playing it on a Switch 1. Like the games that don't have any upgrades.
Well, theoretically it should.
That's how it should. But so one of the games, I've talked about this before, one of the games I would try is Echoes of Wisdom, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, because that game has weird emulation quirks.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if those quirks are there in the Switch 2 version. But that game has an upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to see what is that upgrade.
Yeah.
Maybe the upgrade, I suspect, is just to fix the quirk.
Yeah, I think some of at least the free ones Nintendo is offering for like Echoes of Wisdom, Link's Awakening, Mario Odyssey, probably just to get the games running on Switch 2.
Yeah.
So
that's what I suspect.
I'd be curious to see, if it's even possible to play those games without the upgrade. Like, can you just say, do not update?
I'm going to say definitely not.
Yeah.
I think you need internet to play a Switch 1 game at all, period.
Okay.
Just to even like get the game to load.
Yeah.
Because that's people who have a Switch right now and they turn it on. It needs it's like locked out of playing games completely. It needs a day one update, but I suspect it needs it needs game information from some Nintendo server to even just play a Nintendo game, which is, of course, very upsetting. I don't like the idea of having to connect to the internet just to play a physical game that I own.
Yeah.
But like that's the world we live in now. So I just don't I don't. I mean, my reasoning is games preservation, and like years from now, what if you don't have access to the internet, or what if I'm like on a plane and I don't have access to the internet or something like that? But like otherwise, I just hate the idea.
Yeah.
It's the idea that I'm like just fundamentally against. Because it doesn't have to be that way. Anyway, we got a bunch of notifications that I've been ignoring. Who are you people? We got Edward Bova. Thanks for the 9 months from, I think, before the show even started. Junior Moser, thank you for the 32 months. Last podcast before the Switch 2. I was thinking of making today's episode like
remembering the Switch 1.
Yeah, but well.
No, fuck that system,
fuck
man.
that,
We're getting a new one. Throw your Switch 1 in the trash. It's grandma's console now.
On my Switch 2, I'm mostly going to be playing Switch 1 games. I'm going to play Mario Kart
now,
and I'm going to play Welcome Tour, but I am going to play Mario Maker and Nintendo Switch World Championship.
Yeah. I mean, we got to wait till like the real games come out for it. I mean, Odyssey and Bonanza are like the real games, but like, Metroid Prime 4 and like the next 3D Mario game and whatnot, and the next like big Zelda game.
Yeah. The library isn't going to be huge for Switch 2 specific games until the holidays, probably. But that's fine.
I would be curious, what Cyberpunk does given that game's history. And I saw something that's CD Projekt Red, because of the Switch 2's architecture, they were actually able to get Phantom Liberty over on there as well, no problem.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see like what people say about that game.
About Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, that's the talk of the town.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna get that.
Yeah.
It's another game I gotta try because that ends up being a really great benchmark. I didn't like realize. I mean, I know that everybody always tests Cyberpunk, but I didn't realize how easy that game is to like test the power of a handheld or a console. And it's on all of these other PC handhelds, so that will be a direct like this is exactly how the Switch performs compared to all of these other PC handhelds. Anyway, Charts in the Air, 19 months. Oh, hi Bob, hi Will, hello, Charts in the Air. DJ Skeletor, 20 months. Good evening, Wolf Bros. Thank you so much. Smart Squirrel, thanks for the 3 months. Sukasa, thanks for the 40 months. 40-month anniversary, the week of the Switch 2 release. Sucks that my pre-order of the Pro 2 controller and my Cyberpunk are coming on the 11th instead of launch. That does suck. I did not pre-order a Pro controller. I am a little upset that I didn't. I didn't because I was like, I don't need it. I already got Pro controllers. I got like 1 million controllers. I don't need another one. And the Pro 2 doesn't even look that different. But I need to talk about it.
Yeah.
I figured that it would be on Amazon.
Yeah.
And it probably won't be on Amazon until Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta be on top of that shit.
Yeah.
So if you see it go up on Amazon, if you see the Wario64 tweet, you gotta like call me.
All right. Or like, I have a company card. I'll get it.
Just buy it. For real, buy it.
I'm trying. They brought up delays in pre-orders. I'm seeing a lot of news. I didn't put in the keep. I probably should have. I'm bad at my job. Walmart and Target are canceling a lot of pre-orders for people.
Walmart, I saw, they gave you a window. They said you can reinstate your pre-order if it got canceled.
I think they're also offering like gift cards for if like it doesn't work. Like if you can't pre-order it.
Right.
It doesn't work. I would like a gift card for the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Jim Gordon figure I pre-ordered and then you canceled on me, Walmart. Maybe just have stock or just give me the toy. Todd McFarlane, I know you watch. Give me that toy.
I went to the P.O. box to get a bunch of stuff, and there was a McFarlane.
Was there a McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Jim Gordon figure?
There was a box that said McFarlane Toys, and it had McFarlane Toys tape around it.
Yes, that's how. If you buy it from the McFarlane Toys like official store, that's how they send it to you.
That's crazy because it was all Genki Switch 2 accessories. so I was like, I saw it, and I was like, I should save this for the podcast. Clearly, Will got something, and then I was like, where's my Genki shit? I opened it and I was like, oh, that's so weird. I don't know why.
They used the spawn tape on it?
They used the spawn tape on it.
God.
It was so confusing. I was very like surprised by that. I don't know what that means. I gotta ask them. Why?
Are you partnered with? Where do you buy spawn tape?
I was shocked by that. Anyway, so crazy week.
Yes.
Switch 2 obviously comes out tomorrow. I got the Anbernic 34XX SP. I got a fucking Ioneo 3. And I got my Lenovo Legion Go S, the Steam version, shipped today.
Okay.
So all 4 of those things are here now. So I don't know. Everyone's got to move aside for the Switch 2. I don't know what any of these people are expecting releasing consoles the week of the Switch 2. That's like if all of these games came out the day Grand Theft Auto came out.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Anyway, Sky has ADHD. Thanks for the prime. Yo Baba, thanks for the prime. And Benny, editor Benny.
Oh, hey Benny,
for the subscription. Benny, I hope you're ready to do a late night edit tomorrow night. Send any of those 4 my way. I'll take care of them for you. Okay, thank you. You want to do a review on them for me?
Are you gonna get the PSP looking one? Or?
Yes, I already emailed them about that. The people that like usually send me them just didn't send. They just like ghosted me for like a week for the 34XX SP. So I bought it myself, and then after a week, they were like, "Hey, sorry, we're here. You want anything?" And I was like, "Well, I don't want that anymore. I already bought it." But I was like, "Please get me this slide," and they were like, "Okay, you betcha." I guess we should talk about it.
Yeah.
Anbernic slide. Here you go.
Brief dalliance to Anbernic land before we get back to the Switch 2 nonsense.
Anbernic slide. Here it is. Anbernic slide. It is I mean, is it a sidekick? No, because it slides.
PSP Go. Like that's what I remember it as. But like all these like stupid, lamestream media game journos keep referring it to as like, oh, Selfros from like 2004.
It does look like
it does, but like. Fucking PSP Go. Know your gaming history.
People are upset about the is it a 4x3 screen or is it a 3x2 screen?
I think technically it's 3x2.
I like the aspect ratio.
I think it fits.
I don't need a 16:9 screen if the systems aren't gonna support over GameCube.
Yeah.
I'm cool with 4x3. They show a lot of game streaming here because that's the easiest way to avoid the piracy claims.
Yes.
I like the idea. I still rather have a clamshell because I don't want the screen to scratch.
Yeah.
But I'm open to different form factors. I like the idea of these little wacky form factors.
Mm-hmm.
So no word on price or anything.
Yeah.
Just this is how it looks. And there it is playing a GameCube game.
Yeah.
Or a Wii game. PSP Go is beautiful. That's just an ugly Android phone.
It does run Android.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Android?
It is Android.
Okay. I'm cool with Android now. Me and Android are cool.
Walmart is offering $15 gift cards for the cancellation of your Switch 2.
I got a $50 gift card for my Lenovo Legion Go S debacle.
Oh, nice.
Or maybe you did, because I'm pretty sure I'm still using your account. Do we want to talk about Pokemon Legends ZA details?
Might as well. There's no other news this week.
Let's talk this last thing about the Switch 2 app allowing you to upload.
Do we also want to talk about the screen protector?
Yes.
Yeah. That first or the?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter.
All right. Switch 2, if you're picking up a Switch 2 this week, resist the urge to remove the screen protector you'll find applied to the console out of the box. This is actually a film layer designed to prevent fragments scattering in the event of damage, and the Switch 2's European safety manual, spotted by the fan site Nintendo Soup, specifically warns not to peel it off. This advice might sound familiar because the Switch OLED had a similar anti-shattering layer with the same warning. In both cases, the goal is to minimize the spread of glass splinters if the screen gets smashed. Foldable phones also commonly ship with the protective anti-scratch films that mustn't be removed, which infamously caused problems with the first Galaxy Fold reviewers did when the first Galaxy Fold reviewers did exactly that.
I remember the Galaxy Fold
Yes.
coming out and people were removing the protective layer. So here I have a Switch OLED. So like you can't visibly see a protective layer at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say I never knew that was.
I never even gave it a thought.
Yeah, like you can't even get like your
I got my fingernail in there and I started to pick, and you could definitely pick it off if you tried. So I stopped.
Yeah.
But it's recessed.
Yeah,
so it doesn't feel like there's a film or anything.
Yeah.
But if you got your grubby little fingernail in there, you could, if you really wanted to, you could take it off.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah.
Genki sent me a screen protector, and I don't like screen protectors, so I wasn't gonna put it on, but I might.
Yeah,
I might just.
Dog, I heard you like screen protectors, so we got a screen protector for your Switch 2 screen protector, so you can protect your screen while you protect your screen.
Now they got these screen protectors. This is the Genki one. It's a screen protector that comes with like a piece of plastic, so it aligns. It's like.
Yeah, they all do that. They all do that now.
Yeah, that's so much better.
I got one, except the one I have for the Steam Deck. I do and it always leaves a bubble right in the center, and I can't get out. So
the center is bad.
Yeah, so I just like took it off. I'm like, fuck this, I'm not doing it anymore.
I don't like screen protectors.
I
went on this is the first phone I got a screen protector.
So I actually have a screen protector on my Switch, but it's a blue light filter screen protector.
Okay.
So like, less than.
Because you're such a hardcore gamer, you stare at it so much.
I was actually playing my Steam Deck in bed till like midnight last night because I am addicted to unpacking. So
I was playing Lonely Mountain Snowboard Adventure or some shit. So was some chatter recommended me that game.
Yeah,
and the game fucking rules. But I was playing that and I saw you pop up.
Yeah, I see you pop up playing Elden Ring.
I was playing,
and I'm like,
I played a lot of games yesterday.
I was like, oh, Bob playing his hardcore man game, and me, I'm just putting books on a shelf.
Elden Ring is pretty good, but you need to play with people.
Yeah,
if you're playing by yourself, it's a worthless game.
Unpacking is the perfect leave me alone type game. It is also the perfect game to play with your 5-year-old daughter, who like probably shouldn't be seeing you playing Doom anytime soon.
You should try this Lonely Mountain Adventure Time.
I should try it. Yeah,
it's pretty. You just ski down the mountain. That's the whole game. It's just that.
Yeah,
and you can like do tricks and stuff, but like you kind of don't want to.
Yeah,
because you want to just stay on your legs. So I don't know. It's also really hard. The game's really fucking hard. And then I started Death Stranding again.
Okay.
Because there's only a month until the new Death Stranding comes out.
Oh, geez.
So I gotta finish Death Stranding. I'm trying to get on that. I'm trying to do a little bit at a time. And I was putting it off playing it because the beginning of the game is like an hour-long cutscene. And that game makes no fucking sense. So please let me know if the screen protector is worth getting. I was looking at the Genki screen protector, and it looks really high quality. I mean, they're sponsoring, so maybe look up a review. But I'm sure it's fine. It's a screen protector. Are you having fun with Death Stranding, Bob? I literally had control of Sam Porter Bridges for like 15 minutes. It's just a cutscene. I played like 10 hours of it when it came out. I'm replaying it now from the beginning. On my Lenovo Legion Go S. Anyway, what did we just talk about?
The screen protector on the Switch 2.
Right.
Now we're talking about.
So, going back to the screen protector on the Switch 2, you probably don't need a screen protector, but do not start picking at your screen.
Yeah.
We just showed you on the OLED. It's recessed. It's probably like that on the Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, when I touched the Switch 2 for 2 seconds, the screen looked totally fine.
Yeah.
Get a screen protector if you feel like you need one. You probably don't. If you have kids and your kids are gonna play it, maybe get a Switch
absolutely,
protector.
yeah.
Then you might want one. Anyway, Switch 2 owners can finally upload and auto-upload screenshots and videos to the app.
Yes. According to data miner Oatmeal Dome, an update rolling out for the Switch mobile app adds a screen giving information on a new upload feature. The new feature allows Switch 2 owners to select any screenshot or video clips they've captured on the console and then upload them to the mobile app. This allows users to load the app, find the captures, and save them to their camera roll for sharing on social media or other purposes. The app also reportedly mentions an auto upload feature in which any screenshots or videos captured on Switch 2 will automatically be sent to the mobile app without the player having to do anything. According to the app, up to 100 screenshots and videos can be uploaded and will be stored for up to 30 days, after which they will presumably be removed if the user hasn't saved them to their camera roll by then. If a user tries to upload more than 100 files, the oldest ones will be overwritten.
Thank God.
I can't tell you like what a godsend that type of feature is on Xbox and PS5. Like
it's insane on the Switch.
Yeah.
You have to. The way it currently works is you take a screenshot and it'll ask, "Oh, do you want to send this to your phone?" And you hit yes, and then a QR code comes up.
Yes.
You scan it with your phone. Your phone then Wi-Fi connects to the Switch, and then it does some bullshit.
It sends you to a web link where you can then save the picture.
Yes, you on your phone you go to a local website because you just remoted into your Switch 2, and then you download the picture. You have to save as.
Yeah.
It's insane how convoluted it is. And there's absolutely no reason for it. So thank God they have a feature like this.
On PS4 one time, there wasn't like an easy way to send like a picture to my phone because like they didn't update the app yet where you can just save it to the app. So I had to send a screenshot as a message to a bot that had messaged me a while ago. I think it was a porn bot too. So like, and then I had to go into the app, go to my messages, and find it there.
What I would do on the PS4 is I would do a Facebook post to you can set the privacy to you can like make a private Facebook post, or you can do it in a way so that nobody can see the Facebook post basically. And that's how I would share videos to myself. I get them on my computer.
Do they still? I know they don't do Twitter posts anymore. Because now they charge $40,000 a month for it or something.
Yeah, the API is expensive.
But do they still do it for the other social media apps?
Facebook? I haven't. I
haven't tried.
Honestly, now lately I just take the SD card out.
Yeah,
that's the because I can't even get into my Facebook anymore. So
you're not missing much.
I know. So yeah. That's a nice update. Also, another glimpse of how the online is probably going to be vastly updated on this thing. So I'm optimistic about the updates here.
Yeah.
Moving on. Oh, Anthony Delay, thanks for the $10. Switch 2 coming out tomorrow reminds me of when my father left me as a fuck you. Also, Witcher 4 tech demo looks nuts. I saw that. What's nuts about it? That just looked like a cutscene.
It was running. I think it was running on PS5. Okay. I should have. Again, I'm bad at my job. I should have put that news.
I'm not excited
because,
about.
Like, well, I think the big deal.
Cutscenes.
It's like because it was Epic's showcase, and that also is technically part of the Summer Games Fest. So
yeah, it was Unreal Engine.
Yeah, Unreal Engine 5 point whatever.
Like it could be in game. There was gameplay. I thought there was zero gameplay in what I saw. I saw a 2-minute demo on IGN's. Yeah, it could be in-game footage, but I don't believe. That means nothing to me anymore.
I mean, it all looks the same now.
Yeah, I what I saw was 2 minutes of zero gameplay. 60 frames a second ray tracing, they claimed. Okay. I don't. You could pre-render that shit. Like it is not impressive unless somebody is controlling it. And from what the 2-minute trailer that I saw, zero control.
The Witcher 4 tech demo ran on a base PS5 to show how much we can optimize the Unreal Engine 5. The demo isn't technically a part of the final game, but it showed a good idea of what to expect.
Oh, this is okay.
Yeah.
Chris Mack sent a 38-minute.
Showcase a bustling market in a port city, a beautiful forest landscape, and a horse that looked and acted like a horse.
Okay, this is actual gameplay.
Yeah.
This is the thing I should have seen.
Yeah, 60 frames per second running on a base PS5. According to Julius Gerbig, senior technical animator at CD Projekt Red, the choice of hardware for the demo was intentional.
Okay, this is not what I saw.
Yeah. So they're not
the horse.
Yep. It's not showing final gameplay, but like it's just to give an idea of like what they're trying to do with Unreal rather than like the proprietary engines they've been using for the Witcher games and for Cyberpunk.
I mean, you do see they for sure have control of this character.
Yeah.
So this is vastly more impressive than the 2-minute trailer that.
Yeah. Whoop.
And there's the guy with the controller, so you know that they're controlling.
So I mean, it looks good.
I'm not.
Me neither. Do we have Witcher 3 on? We have it on PS4.
That's it.
That's it.
I have not gotten it on PC.
I've seen it for like $3 on PC, and I'm tempted, but like I know that's like a 1,000-hour game, and like Cyberpunk is more my speed.
There's plenty of games that are like Witcher now.
Yeah, just watch the Netflix show, honestly.
There was more Switch stuff that we must talk about. Let's talk about how GameShare works. I uploaded. I put this here just now, real quick. I should have summarized this before. Nintendo has been teaming up teeing up its new GameShare feature for a couple of months now, but outside of some flashy promotional ads, we've had no real indication of what you do with it. But now they shared it with Nintendo today. The video was embedded in yesterday's Playing Nintendo Switch Games on Nintendo Switch 2 topic, accessed via news at the bottom of your app feed, and highlights the process of sharing a multiplayer game between the old and the new Switch systems. As demonstrated in the video, starting a GameShare session on the Switch 2 is as easy as selecting the relevant option from the compatible game's start menu. And I saw a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
It won't let me click. It looks like the title screen has like a new tab that says. So there's like. Back up.
The user joining the GameShare session from the Switch 1 simply has to press the GameShare icon on the console's home menu. The player instigating the session on Switch 2 can then press start once everyone is ready and waiting.
This is confusing in Clubhouse Games because it says this tab here says single system, local play, online, or GameShare. I guess this is within the multiplayer tab already.
Yeah.
So then it adds a GameShare.
Yeah. So like I'm assuming y'all got to be connected to the same Wi-Fi, but Switch 2 person boots up the game, presses GameShare, and then Switch 1 person, there will be a new icon on your home screen. So you just tap that. You go into the game.
Yes. So that's how it'll be on games that are compatible with GameShare.
Yes.
Which means you're basically just remoting into the person's Switch 2.
Yeah.
Is this only available on a Switch 2? Like,
so
the host, does the host have to be a Switch 2?
The host has to be a Switch 2.
Interesting.
Yes. Switch 1 cannot initiate GameShare. It is only Switch 2 that can initiate GameShare.
Very interesting. I wonder, I mean, probably doing some background processes.
Probably, yeah. Because you got to beam up to four different streams, you know.
It'll only work in local multiplayer, and a session can only be started by a Switch 2 system. GameShare also works for online multiplayer, but only between Switch 2s. So, I guess there must be more bandwidth going.
Yeah. Well, we already established like the Switch 2 is like 8 years more advanced than the Switch 1. So.
Yeah, but I didn't know exactly how much more advanced the Wi-Fi was.
Right. It might not even be the Wi-Fi necessarily. It might just be the processing.
Well, it's the processing power in terms of hosting the game,
Yeah.
but like playing online on GameShare, that's got to be a bandwidth.
Right.
Wi-Fi 6 is what the Switch 2 has.
A Switch 1 probably has like Wi-Fi 3 or whatever.
5.
Okay.
Yep, that makes sense. All right. Next news. Just Pokemon Legends. Okay, nonsense.
Okay. Where is it? Pokemon Company has announced the release date for the highly anticipated Pokemon Legends ZA and Pokemon Legends ZA Switch 2 edition. October 16th, 2025. Pre-orders begin on June 5th. You'll be busy that day getting your Switch 2. There's a new Pokemon Presents set for July 22nd for the latest news and updates from the world of Pokemon. The Pokemon Company also announced the release of a brand new Mega Evolution merchandise available now at the Pokemon Center. Players who buy either the physical or digital versions of Pokemon Legends ZA for the Nintendo Switch get the option to upgrade to the Switch 2 edition by buying a $10 upgrade pack from the eShop or My Nintendo Store. The Switch 2 edition offers improved graphics and frame rates. The cover art has also been unveiled. It features the game's main characters and their partner Pokemon battling a Mega Evolved Pokemon at night in Luminous City.
Cute. That is a weird box art.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like it looks like it's going for an action pose.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Like I like the idea of it, but this is not typical of a Pokemon box art.
Maybe they really want people to think that like this is going to be a different type of Pokemon game.
This doesn't look like box art for any game. This is like so weird. This is just like a comic book panel.
Well, all right. So go to the Switch 1 box art. It's the same like art, but I think the fact that it's less cluttered with like Switch 2 branding like helps. You know what I mean?
Yes. But it's bizarre because their backs are turned.
Yeah, it's bizarre because it's Pokemon. Like they have like a set.
Yeah, it's usually just a big legendary Pokemon, and that's the box art.
Yeah.
But the people who are the characters that are facing the camera are so small and far away,
and it looks to be the antagonists.
Yeah, and the protagonists, their backs are turned, and they're in shadow. It's so weird. It's very strange.
Weird, yeah.
And it's at night. It's very weird for box art.
Very un-Pokemon.
Yeah.
If this was a different type of game, maybe.
Honestly, I can't think of. It's just it's. I think it's weird for games. Period. It's weird for Pokemon, and I think it's also weird for a game. Like think about Yokai Watch. Like that doesn't even make sense for a Yokai Watch.
I don't know, man. I guess like look, they really want you to not think of Pokemon as a bad game company.
There's also 7 characters on this box. 8 characters. There are 8 characters.
Yeah.
It's very weird and bizarre. Anyway, Wicked Spooky, thanks for the 33 months. Yo guys, I hope you're doing amazeballs. I'm doing pretty amazing. Thank you. Is that all for Switch?
I think so.
Oh my god. I'm sure we'll bring up more stuff later.
Yeah.
We also do a little Q&A at the end and people can ask us whatever what you want. So anyway. Backlog! 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 I feel like we nailed that one.
Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome to the Backlog.
It's Backlog Time. Is a segment of the WULFF DEN Podcast where we go through our entire video game collection of 983 games. We pick one at random. We talk about it regardless of whether or not we played it.
386.
386. All right. What could this be? 6. Super Mario Brothers 35 for the Switch.
For the Switch?
Yeah.
Oh, this one.
This one. What a game to talk about on the eve of the Switch 2 coming out. A game you can never play again.
Yeah, this game does not exist. You currently cannot play it, and you never will be able to.
Yeah.
There's very little chance Nintendo brings this back.
Yeah.
So I loved this game for a hot minute. I played it a decent amount. I wasn't. I had my issues with it. This is Nintendo did Tetris 99.
Yes.
Which is their way to show off their online because they,
Mm-hmm.
they invented online
Yes.
for video games.
Yes.
And Tetris 99 did pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a battle royale Tetris game. This is their idea of a battle royale Mario game. Now, me and Mario go way back.
Yeah.
And me and Battle Royale Mario go way back too.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little game called Mario Royale.
Yes.
That predated this. And that was not an official Mario game. That was a YouTuber made it.
Mm-hmm.
And he got copyright striked real quick. And that crashed and burned. You can, though, still play a version of that if you look hard enough. And it is still great and awesome. You should try it out. Although the mechanics, last time I played, they're not exactly Mario. They're like a little weird. But still, it's a great idea for how to do a Mario Battle Royale.
Mm-hmm.
I think that game does a lot of things better than what Mario 35 does. However, this is official, so it's pretty good.
Yeah.
This is you versus 34 other players playing online. If you have Nintendo Switch Online, you just got this game.
Yeah. It was included with your membership.
Yeah, and you would play sort of random Mario 1 level.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to vote on what level to play, but it was almost always just World 1-1.
Yeah.
And here it is on screen. You just race all of the other players. Now, in Mario Royale, you would see a ghost of all of the other characters, which I think is better. Also, you can, like, fuck with people. Like, you can hit them with a shell.
Yeah.
You can interrupt their world. This, you see them in, like, the corner on the screen.
Yeah, you see them in the other windows, and, like, you're competing against them, but not 1-to-1, I would say.
Yeah, and you can fuck with them in some ways. Like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the under where his coins are, if you get enough coins, you get something that will fuck with some of them on screen. Kind of in Tetris 99, if you got enough lines, you can throw garbage at other players. And this had a similar mechanic to that. But it didn't really work as good. It looks like you're also timed, and you can increase the time by doing various things.
Yeah.
But really, it's just a fire yourself to the end. Get yourself as close to the end as possible.
Enemies defeated by the player were sent to their opponents in real time, appearing in their levels as additional hindrance. Players
could see on screen. He just cleared a bunch, but you see the gray Goombas. Those are being sent to him by other players.
Players can either manually target their opponents or choose from 4 types of opponents to attack. Players who collect the most coins, players who had the least amount of time remaining, players who attack the player themselves, or random players. Each player would be assigned a timer that starts at 35 seconds. They were awarded additional seconds by eliminating enemies, and in doing so in rapid succession yielded higher rewards.
Yeah, so at the top middle of the screen, you'll see there's a right stick. That is how you select who to target with your enemies that you're going to send onto the screen. It's a cool idea. It's a cool concept. And it's also an interesting way to get around the limitations of Nintendo Switch Online, because Nintendo Switch Online has really bad lag. If somebody has a bad connection, it's peer-to-peer, basically. It's not exactly peer-to-peer, but if somebody's connection is bad, it ruins it for everybody. So having 35 players connected is a horrible way to experience that sort of architecture.
Yeah.
So the way that this game works is everybody's kind of playing their own game locally, and you just get sent, enemies from other players.
Right.
It just shows up when it shows up, So that's a good way to get around some of their limitations, but it also makes it so that you cannot really real-time interact with the other players. The only way is to send them enemies, and that's not exactly like real-time. It's like sort of real-time. So having a mechanic like they have in Mario Royale, where you can like hit the other guy with a Koopa shell, like that's not gonna work here. So I guess the mechanic of like whatever's under the coins, that's just like a power up you get to unlock. So I liked it. I already went through some of my grievances. I think you play 4 levels. I don't know if this guy's gonna win or not, but obviously there's only
it says you traverse through the original set of 32 levels from Super Mario Brothers. So all of the levels are in the game.
So I think it's only 4 levels, but per game.
Okay.
But you unlock the whole first game.
Got it.
And when the game when you start the round, you vote on what level you want to play. So I think in this one, when the game first came out, people only had the first world.
Yeah.
So I think that the 4 levels that they played were just world 1 and 2 over and over again. This is, I think, him getting to the end. You could see that there's people who are knocked out. You can see all around all of the KOs all over the screen. Oh, and he got KO'd. So he didn't make it. And this is what it looks like. You unlock things. You get like different little like icons for your guy and shit. Overall, not that much content because it is just Mario 1. But I really appreciated the spin that this gave Mario 1.
Yeah.
And I like the leaderboards and stuff. And I just really appreciate Nintendo acknowledging speedrunning of their retro games. So I liked it. I wish it was better than it was, but I appreciated it while it was around.
So this game came out October 1st, 2020 in celebration of Mario's 35th anniversary. That's why it's Mario 35. Mm-hmm. It was discontinued on April 1st, 2021. According to Nintendo President of America and guy who didn't take a picture of me one time, Doug Bowser, the 35th anniversary products, and that included Super Mario 3D All-Stars, were discontinued due to the 35th anniversary being a celebration that was intended to be unique. He considered the concept successful and stated how limited time events were not planned to be used as a marketing strategy in the future. So I understand like wanting to do something for a 35th anniversary. I've been 35. You want to like, celebrate and whatnot. He's 35 right now. So
yes, that is true. Can't confirm.
But like it sucks that you just rip it away from people. Like
there's really no reason.
There definitely wasn't.
I mean, you need to support the online, but like
you're supporting Tetris 99 and now F-Zero 99.
So Tetris 99, I think, was also supposed to be a limited time thing, but
it's still going.
Yeah, it's still going. I think they realized it was very popular. I can't imagine this taking up a lot of resources.
No.
So it's upsetting that they ripped it away, and they did that a little too much on the Nintendo Switch 1.
Yeah, Pac-Man 99 was another game they had
that was pretty good too.
Yeah.
So I'm upset that they ripped it away. I also wish it could have been better, but I think we got a better game eventually, and that was Nintendo Switch Championship.
Yeah,
World
Championship. The groundwork that this laid went into that. So.
Yeah, and I think that is a better version. I haven't played it in a little bit. I think I'm gonna play that a decent amount on my Switch too.
Mm-hmm.
I like the leaderboards on that game. There is a versus mode that is kind of similar to Mario 35, but I think it's just basically a time trial. You're just competing for the fastest time. I don't even think you can fuck with the other players. But that's cool. I think that game does a better job. Now, I would still love to see another version of this that is more similar to Mario Royale, where you do just race and you can fuck with all of the other players.
Yeah.
I'll also briefly mention Mario Maker 2 has an online, and they do have a versus mode where you just race to the finish of a Mario Maker level.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 4 players at a time, and the online is dog shit. It's such a cool idea, and I wish the online was stable at all. But if you get 4 people in one match, one person's guaranteed to have shitty internet, and it ruins the internet for everybody in the lobby. It sucks. It's such a cool idea to be able to verse people online in a Mario game, but it's unusable.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I liked Mario 35. Upset it left us a little too early.
Yeah.
It could have been a little bit better too. But I do want Nintendo to try again with a couple other Mario online 2D Mario versus games.
Why not?
Shit.
This is technically the 40th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers, and you got a new system coming out. Why not Super Mario Brothers 40?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Add 5 more people to it.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the backlog, everybody. Come to the podcast where we will talk more. Bye.
Bye.
You think the online could be improved on the Switch too for Super Mario Maker 2? Not unless they completely remake Super Mario Maker 2. I think Super Mario Maker 3 will have better online.
Hopefully.
Someone got the Piranha Plant camera early and posted a photo they made from it. This is the photo they took.
Oh, it's the
oh my
box
god,
art?
that looks fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is just random. This has probably been a thing for a while. Let me see when this. This is not a story or anything. Oh, this is a month ago. I was on itch.io looking for games for some reason, and fucking this came up. Also, when I went to type in random number generator in my little URL bar, I accidentally clicked on this, so it reminded me of it. Sonic Colors Demaster.
Okay.
It's on itch.io right now. It's just a
Interesting.
fan-made 2D Sonic Colors.
Interesting.
But it looks fucking awesome.
That looks better than the DS Sonic Colors that came out.
Yeah, I think it's free.
Oh wow.
It looks like it's running. It looks like it has Sonic.
It looks
Rush,
yeah.
Sprites. Yeah.
Well, Sonic Colors on the DS, I think, is based on Sonic Rush.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So
it looks awesome.
Yeah. Look again. It looks better than the game we actually got.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it's free on itch.io right now.
Nice. I still have Sonic Galactic, that fan game that I never played. It's basically Sonic Mania 2.
Oh yeah, I haven't.
It looks awesome.
I'll try that.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Xbox handheld. Oh
boy.
bad news.
Yes. Previously, it was reported that Microsoft was working on a native Xbox handheld alongside the Xbox Series X successor, planned to launch around 2027.
Fucking terrible picture. The screen is not 16:9.
No,
those are the biggest grips I've ever seen in my life.
That is literally just an Xbox Series controller split in half.
Love the Windows Metro though.
Yeah,
and the shitty Photoshop job on this Windows Metro. Jesus Christ. I don't think this is AI. I think this is just
I think that's just a
horrible
Photoshop
job. Anyway.
Okay. So we know that they're launching an Xbox handheld alongside an Xbox Series X successor, planned to launch in 2027. It now seems that Microsoft's priorities have shifted somewhat. Just to emphasize here, it is not the Asus device, codenamed Keenan, that is being pushed back. It is Microsoft's own internal Xbox handheld that has been shelved for now.
So that's the part that really interests me, because I never knew that they were working. This article broke the news to me that Microsoft was working on a handheld themselves to release with their next home console.
Didn't we?
I thought that Asus was their handheld.
No, wait. When we reported on the Asus, we mentioned that Microsoft is still working on their own.
Don't remember that.
Do you really have the
I
memory
don't
of
remember
the?
that at all.
Why?
I don't remember hearing about it.
Yeah,
I thought
we
this
talked
was
about
their handheld.
They were focusing on the Asus one to get that out the door, but internally they were working on their own Microsoft-made one. The question was it going to be Windows-based or was it going to be an actual portable Xbox?
Right.
That's what the mystery still was.
I thought that argument was about the Asus one.
No, it was about the mysterious
Right.
Xbox one. This mysterious Microsoft-made one.
I understand.
Okay.
We were having two different conversations.
What I feel like often on this podcast, we are having two different conversations. Windows Central has a variety of code names for this unseen device, but it is unclear as of writing which exactly is the correct one. At the moment, it seems there are 3 prototype devices in development for Microsoft's Gen 10 effort.
All right, let me write this down.
With the handheld being parked for now. Indeed, Microsoft still wants to build its own Xbox handheld in the future, but Microsoft has decided to prioritize its team to improve Windows 11 gaming performance, specifically for devices like the Asus partner device, Project Keenan. It's possible that the existential threat of SteamOS, which on paper delivers a better gaming performance than Windows 11, has informed those decisions. Windows Central sources have indicated that Microsoft is still deeply investing in development of its own Xbox gaming handheld technology in the future. but it was announced internally today that the priorities are moving more deeply towards third-party OEM handhelds in the interim. It seems that the handheld was indeed meant to be a device that could run full Xbox games despite being a Windows 11 device, but Microsoft has decided to prioritize its teams on partner opportunities around devices like Keenan, at least for now. Windows Central has been told that Microsoft still has big ambitions and is investing heavily to deliver a native Xbox handheld, but the shift is about prioritizing and allocating resources right now. There have been no layoffs or anything like that as a result of this reprioritization.
I kind of want Microsoft to make their own.
Yeah, well, it looks like they want to, but I think maybe they're having trouble trying to figure out what exactly it is. And for now, since all these other companies are making handhelds that run on their operating system, in the interim, get their operating system to where it should have been a year or two ago.
It really shouldn't be that fucking hard. They just need to make like an environment for just launching games.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't be like rocket science. They own the operating system.
I know, but like maybe that's the thing. They built the operating system before gaming handhelds were ubiquitous. You know, now that it is, they might have to like reverse engineer it to work properly for this new form factor.
I'd also like to point out that the article that they linked to about how SteamOS, which on paper delivers better game performance than Windows 11 itself, the article they linked to is about specifically Dave 2D's comparison of the Lenovo Legion Go S, the Steam versus the Windows version, which is what everybody's pointing to, and I don't think is accurate. There is a performance increase, but I think that this is like I haven't seen anyone else report these insane jumps in performance.
Right.
I think SteamOS is better than Windows because of a lot of other reasons.
Right.
But yes, it's possible that Microsoft is looking at this and being like, everybody likes SteamOS better. We should probably not use Windows for our own.
I'm sure, Phil Spencer, like, I don't know what he does anymore, but he has talked about, like, he's aware of the gaming handhelds and he has a very high position in Microsoft right now. So, like, I'm sure he's like yelling at everybody who will listen to him, like, listen, like, this is the future. We got to like, get in on this. And they're always like, sure, Game Boy, whatever you want. Hey, you hear about AI?
I mean, Microsoft has to know that gaming on a PC is one of the main reasons people like Windows.
And gaming on PC is like growing steadily more so than console gaming.
It's been for
so like
decades.
Clearly they're aware of the importance of gaming.
Why is it that there's such a huge number of people who buy a PC just for games?
Yeah.
Why is it that they treat those people so poorly? There's like no. Microsoft just does not give a fuck. Like, it seems like they don't even interact with that side of their audience.
I think they give more of a fuck than, like, say, Apple does. So, because gaming on Windows has been, like, the only... I think that might be it. Because gaming on Windows has really been the only game in town for, like, 40 years at this point. Now, all of a sudden, there is a viable competitor in SteamOS. Because it is an operating system that pretty much only does gaming, but it's flexible like a PC operating system.
Yeah.
So that is a threat to them. That is finally a threat to them in that space.
And good.
Yeah.
They need it. But my fear is that they don't care enough. Like, they're like, we get enough money from our enterprise users. We don't need we don't need to cater to the gaming.
But by the same token, like, their gaming division is still like a multi-billion-billion-dollar industry. Any hit to that is going to be disastrous. So they're going to want to like hold on to it as much as possible.
I hope that they do think that way, but I'm not sure. Now, when is Worldwide Developer Conference?
I think that's this week.
I thought it was like today.
No.
It's probably next Monday or something. Or is it tomorrow?
I remember they said it was going to be
the week of the Switch too.
Yeah.
The 6th.
June 9th to the 13th. So that's next week.
June. Okay. So we're mentioning that because that's Apple's event, and they might have something about gaming.
Yeah.
So I got my fingers crossed for some sort of compatibility layer, but I don't think that. I have little hope.
The keynote is June 9th.
And that is Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be watching. Everything's happening this week.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, Shorts in the Air. Thanks for the 100 bits. In regards to Dave 2D stuff, welcome to our world sometimes, Bob. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Summer Games Fest 2. Yeah, that's this weekend.
Yeah, we got stuff on that.
Anyway. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, might as well.
Summer Games Fest.
Summer Games Fest.
Yay.
So first up, we got our first look at the partners being that are going to be showing games at Summer Games Fest. It's the usual suspects: 2K Games, 505 Games, Amazon's going to be there. Bandai Namco, Capcom, CD Projekt Red.
Kind of a huge list.
I think, what do they say? 60 partners. The big news is Nintendo is shown on there. Switch 2. We don't know if that means Nintendo is going to show something. Probably not. Or if that games for the Switch 2 will be revealed as part of this conference.
There is rumors that there will be a Nintendo Direct next week.
Yes.
I'm not sure how true that is. I would imagine Nintendo would just be showing off their new toy that's out. So I don't think that it's going to be any new news or anything. I think that it's just going to be, hey, look, here's a demo of what it looks like. And maybe if you go to the physical Summer Games Fest, they might have a Switch for you to play with. That would make sense to me. But there is still talks that maybe there will be a Nintendo Direct, but that won't be part of Summer Games Fest. That'll just be their own thing.
So the next article is like all the presentations that are happening under the umbrella of Summer Games Fest. Tomorrow, Sony's going to have a State of Play.
What a terrible time.
I know. Well, it's probably them getting out the door. It's like, hey, don't forget about us. Mm-hmm. We're technically the best-selling system of this current generation.
Xbox has one too.
Yeah. Well, I think Xbox is officially part of Summer Games Fest. Because Sony announced their State of Play today, and this article was updated today.
Okay.
So tomorrow is a Sony State of Play, not technically part of Summer Games Fest, but technically part of Summer Games Fest. The actual Jeff Keighley hosted Summer Games Fest is Friday, June 6th, this Friday. That will be at the YouTube Theater in Los Angeles. It will focus on a bunch of AAA games, and probably Death Stranding 2. Because did you know that Jeff Keighley and Hideo Kojima are best friends?
I did know that.
Yes. They kissed one time.
That's not true.
No, it's not. But he acts like it is.
I would know about that.
There's more. Also on June 6th is Day of the Devs. It's a nonprofit co-production from Double Fine and I Am 8-Bit. Will reveal a bunch of indie games. Also on June 6th is the IO Interactive Showcase. This will show off stuff from the new season of Hitman, Mind's Eye, which is published by IO Interactive, and important to me, a first look at their James Bond game, which they tweeted has a name. It is called 007 First Light. It is a game, it was a prequel game all about how James Bond earned his 00 status.
That is really cool.
Yes.
I like the idea.
So,
and I'm assuming a completely different guy.
Yeah, they said it's not going to be connected to the movies necessarily. I mean, because they haven't cast who James. That would be weird, right? If this is how they reveal who's the new James Bond.
That would be weird.
Yeah.
I really like this idea of not having an actor James Bond. Like having a unique game James Bond.
Yeah, I think that's
and it's like a young James Bond.
Yeah. I think that might be the best way to go, especially for like a series like that where like the movies have like sort of become their own thing, and like movie tie-in games are not like really what they used to be. So like look at the Arkham games. Like those are Batman games, but they're separate from like the movies and the cartoons and whatnot.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm excited for that. Hopefully that'll be cool. Also, part of Back to Summer Games Fest, we got the Wholesome Direct, which will be on Saturday, June 7th. That's all, all you cozy game people like me. I play Unpacking. That's a cozy game.
Now he's
that's this is my life now. I know
everything. Mountain snowboard ski guy is also a cozy game.
Right.
I'll have you know.
Where are we? Future Games Show Summer Showcase, also on June 7th. This is some of the most exciting games on the horizon. So this is just more big games like Mafia: The Old Country and Directive 8020. The Xbox Games Showcase is going to be on Sunday, June 8th. And the Outer Worlds 2 is going to be the headlining game of that Direct.
Okay.
So
that's interesting that they that they didn't surprise us.
Yeah. The PC Gaming Show from PC Gamer is also on Sunday. Viewers can look forward to over 50 games on PC, Steam Deck, Linux, and Mac. With publisher.
That's never that exciting for some reason.
Even though we'll have publishers like Ubisoft, Fail Better Games, Devolver Digital, and Astra Logical confirmed to appear. And lastly, maybe a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, we don't know for certain.
I would imagine Nintendo would do a Direct like a month after Switch 2 comes out. Like not immediately after it comes out.
Yeah, I think maybe a couple weeks.
Yeah, give people time to like play the thing and like understand what it's about before they're like, hey, now we got new shit coming.
So there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a lot of YouTube content, basically.
I don't know if this is better or worse than the way E3 used to do it. Cause like
it's better because I don't have to go anywhere.
Exactly. But like back in the good old days, on the E3 week, on Sunday there would be the Xbox presentation in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Then there would be the PlayStation presentation at night. And then the next day would be the Nintendo presentation. And then maybe like sprinkled out between day 1 and 2, like EA and Ubisoft would do like a presentation.
It was structured and it felt nicer to like marathon all that stuff.
Instead of like all these like massive streams like spread throughout a weekend,
Yeah. It was more, there's a lot more hype around the weekend seeing all of the different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't really care that much. I think it's fine to get drip fed information.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like also too it's just the state of the industry now where like there's so much more to play. Like there's the floodgates are wide open. Anybody can make a game, anybody can publish a game.
Yeah, like watching what's it called? The Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sensory overload and everything just ends up looking exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I think it's better for me to just get fed the information that I'm actually interested in versus having to sit through all of these different trailers that I don't really care necessarily about. Anyway, that's it for the Summer Games Fest stuff, right?
Yeah. Could be cool.
Could be cool. I'll probably not watch anything.
I'll just
wait
catch
for
it
to hit my feed. We have some bad news about EA canceling the Black Panther game. This is I'm baffled.
Yeah. The team behind EA's Black Panther game was working on a vertical slice before it was killed this week. That's according to
vertical slice.
Yeah. That's according to a new report by Bloomberg that sheds some light on what the canceled project was shaping up to be, including its story and the evolution of the Shadow of Mordor Nemesis system. Bloomberg reports that developers at Cliffhanger Games were caught off guard by the sudden cancellation of the game and closure of the studio. Given just 30 minutes notice before the news was announced by EA in an internal meeting, the studio had apparently just recently successfully passed one of its development milestones and was working towards a vertical slice that would show a chunk of the game in action. The story reportedly revolved around playing as T'Challa, Killmonger, or Shuri as each vied for the mantle of Black Panther. The game would also feature fights with the shape-shifting Skrulls and was also aiming to incorporate elements of the Nemesis system from Shadow of Mordor, such that enemies might remember past encounters with the player and relationships with aspiring Black Panther rivals might evolve. It appears the most likely reason EA may have decided to walk away from the project was at the lack of progress after several years of prototyping. Even as some of those laid off in Cliffhanger Games' closure had only just arrived at the studio earlier this year as it scaled up its development capabilities. EA's latest cancellation comes amid a recent wave of hundreds of layoffs as the publisher narrows its focus on its biggest franchises like The Sims, Battlefield, and Apex Legends. At the same time, the company claimed its 3-game deal with Disney remains intact, and it still plans to successfully ship 2 more after EA Motive's Iron Man comes out in the years ahead.
They're working on an Iron Man game?
Yes. They're working on 3 Marvel games. They just canceled one of them. So now they got to make another one.
I have limited faith in a Iron Man game.
In an EA Iron Man game.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would be.
I can't see flying do good. Ooh, EA. Who's making it? Who's making the Iron Man?
Motive.
Because I mean, if they just do Anthem, but it's Iron Man,
maybe
that could work.
Yeah.
Supposedly the flying mechanics were good in that.
Yeah. So yeah, this was part of a big deal they made with Marvel to do 3 games. Apparently they've been working on this game for 5 years, and the reason why it was canceled was because they had nothing to show for it. Like they didn't really like pass any milestones, even though they said they passed the major one recently. So it's,
I mean, maybe the vertical slice sucked.
Maybe. I mean, like, why shut down the whole studio though? Like, why can't you just do what Activision does and just move them over to your military shooter? You know?
Yeah, or the other Marvel,
especially like, because it seems like EA wants to get away from licensed games. They want to focus on their core franchises, which is Battlefield, The Sims, Apex Legends, not Dead Space, not Need for Speed, even though that's like their biggest franchise. So, you know, put them on those games instead.
Griffinix in the chat says, wasn't Nemesis System Warner Brothers?
Yeah, and they own the patent for it, but I'm sure there's ways you can do it without like breaking the patent. You know,
that's what I'm interested in, because it says the gameplay was also aiming to incorporate elements of the Nemesis system.
Unless they were going to license it.
Well, elements of. I wonder how they would get around it.
Yeah,
to get rid of the.
Because that's the thing. Like Nintendo owned the patent for the sanity effects in video games, but like other companies would find ways to like do their own twist on it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
this is very stupid.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I mean, I'd imagine this game was bad, and that's why they canceled it. But,
yeah.
Or the vertical slice that they made after 5 years was bad, and that's why they canceled it. But how could you fuck that? How could you fuck up a Black Panther game?
I know. It's literally just Batman.
Yeah. All right, Cyberpunk 2, which is now officially called Cyberpunk 2. I don't like that. Has entered pre-production, but don't expect it out before 2030.
CD Projekt announced today that Cyberpunk 2 is now in pre-production phase of development. This is not a big surprise. We've known since 2023 that a new Cyberpunk game is in the works from a new Boston branch of CD Projekt Red. And pre-production
Boston?
Yes.
The fuck?
Pre-production is still very early in the process. Even so, CD Projekt Chief Financial Officer Peter Nebulowskowitz nailed it. Said it's a pretty big deal during today's earnings call. The Phantom Liberty expansion has reached another sales milestone, having been purchased by 10 million gamers. Given these developments, it fills me with great satisfaction to announce another important stage in the work. Several weeks ago, Cyberpunk 2, previously known as Project Orion, wrapped up its conceptual phase and has entered pre-production. As of what this means for as far as the possible release date, the short answer is that Cyberpunk 2 remains a very long way off. In response to a speculative question suggesting that previous development timelines from the pre-production to full release puts the Cyberpunk release in late 2030 or early 2031, Nowakowski did not disagree.
That is a long ways away.
Yes. So they are officially working on it, but maybe by the time you graduate college, you'll be able to actually play it. So, I mean, that just goes to show you how long it takes for games to be made now, especially big games like Cyberpunk.
I don't like that the name's Cyberpunk 2, because when you go to type it in the computer, it's going to autofill Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. I'm sure like the official name will be like Cyberpunk 2097 or something. No.
Cyberpunk 2 : something.
Yeah.
I thought this chart was interesting. It shows you shows you all of the employees at CD Projekt Red and what they're all working on. And it looks like most of them are working on The Witcher 4. Then a handful of them are Cyberpunk 2, and then there's Sirius, Hadar, Shared Services, and other projects.
I wonder what those are.
Yeah, so they have a bunch of plates in the air.
Yeah.
I would say. So that's a little insight into what they're doing. Anyway, GeForce Now, native Steam Deck app.
Yep,
so
that's
this is big news. People were waiting for this.
So guess what? Switch 2, failed console. Don't need it. Don't buy it. GeForce Now is on the Steam Deck. There you go. NVIDIA
Retro Game Core has a video on this.
Yeah.
It seems like it's pretty cool.
NVIDIA's native GeForce Now app is now available for the Steam Deck after being teased back at CES. This allows Steam Deck owners to stream the entire library of over 2,200 games with up to a 4K resolution and 60 frames per second. There are some benefits to using this service, even when the game already runs natively on the Steam Deck. The integration provides HDR, DLSS4, and reflex on supported titles, and the settings can be pushed much higher than usual. This is a streaming platform, so the Steam Deck is more or less just a display for cloud content. To that end, NVIDIA promises a massive increase in battery life when using GeForce Now as compared to running games natively on the console. The company says players could squeeze about 50% more use out of the Steam Deck before required charging.
Maybe more.
Yeah. It also allows players to run games that aren't available on the handheld. GeForce Now pulls its library from Steam, Epic Game Store, Game Pass, Ubisoft, Blizzard's Battle.net, and other places. NVIDIA says it can be used to run games like Clair Obscura, Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered, Monster Hunter Wilds, and Microsoft's Flight Simulator at max settings without worrying about hardware limitations. There is a free version of GeForce Now to try out, but it comes with serious caveats. The queues are generally much longer here, and users are limited to playing sessions for only an hour. The company is offering a 6-month performance membership right now for $30. This reverts back to $50 once the period expires.
I had no idea there was a free version.
Me neither.
I gotta try that. There are major benefits to streaming a game on your Steam Deck versus playing it locally. Yeah. Obviously, there's benefits to playing it locally too, but streaming it, the quality of the stream is usually pretty good on some of these. You mostly don't notice the input lag on most games. If it's like a competitive multiplayer game, maybe, but if you're playing like Clair Obscura, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
A lot of games these days, like Clair Obscura, running pretty poorly on a Steam Deck. So playing it through GeForce Now might be the way to go for certain games. Yeah. And then you can crank the quality all the way up. This would be a good idea for, like, I recently was playing Assassin's Creed using Moonlight, so I can remote into my PC down here, because that's more powerful than my Steam Deck, obviously. So that's a version of streaming that gets me much better quality out of the game. I should maybe consider doing that with Death Stranding, although Death Stranding actually runs pretty great on my Lenovo.
Yeah.
So this is a great alternative if you want to play a game and it's either not available on the Steam Deck or it just runs poorly on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
You can just play it through GeForce Now and have a great time.
Yeah. I wish that other like, you know, obviously Game Pass getting a native Steam Deck app would be great. Even like, you know, Sony putting an official remote play app on Steam would be
Game Pass.
Yeah.
Game Pass needs a remote streaming on Steam.
Yeah.
There's like a shitty way to do it, but like, why not just have an official app?
I know. Yeah. I agree.
Last news, Concord.
Oh, this is a funny story. A commemorative plaque celebrating the release of Concord is currently up for auction at Goodwill stores in the U.S. The plaque, which would have been given to a member of the game's development team to mark its full release, contains the game artwork, a game disc, and the name of the developer.
Oh no, her name's right there.
Yeah. The plaque being auctioned contains the name Chelsea Grace, and says founding free gunner North Star crew worldwide Concord launch August 23rd, 2024. According to Concord's credits, Chelsea Grace was a member of the art department at Concord developer Firewalk Studios, where she was an outsourcing and co-development lead. It's not clear whether her plaque is being auctioned because she chose to donate it, because she never received it, or someone else had it, or for some other reason. At the time of writing, the plaque has earned 34 bids and is currently sitting at a price of $2,526.
That sucks. I hope she gets that money.
Seriously. Or at least I hope she's aware of this. I hope this was her decision.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, man. Like,
could be like her parents decided.
Yeah, or like, you know, someone who worked at the company was just like stealing shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Chelsea didn't get her plaque. Well, too bad. I'm going to donate it to Goodwill.
Tweet of the week. This is, I guess, an old tweet. Rehashed. This is originally from Posting Doom, who says, Happy Pride Month from the legend himself, Video Game Kojima. Hideo Kojima says, people in West have asked why no diversity in my games, but they are wrong when all my games have included a gay character. You, the player.
That's good.
Got him.
Get him.
Anyway, we skipped over a game fact.
That's okay, because I didn't have one.
Okay. You don't get a game fact.
Yeah. Unless I can look one up.
Well, we got notifications from Sharts in the Air, which I read already, and also Cosman with the Prime subscription. And now I will read messages from you.
Yes. Starting with people who left comments on last week's Wolf Den Podcast over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/WolfDenPodcast.
We got Caleb Fox, who says, gonna start referring to y'all as, quote, my friends Bob and Will because they sometimes read my comments.
Okay. I mean, that's my purse. I don't know you, but sure.
Getting coined in... Oh, this is from Nightshade, who says, getting coined in is a military thing where one person gives another a cool-looking challenge coin. Is a symbolic gesture of thanks and respect without a whole bunch of hullabaloo. Also, people use them in various drinking games. Whoever forgot their coin buys around. Person with the highest ranking / coolest coin get drinks free. Last person to pull out their coin buys around, etc.
Yeah.
What about the Pogs? Do you also have a pocket full of Pogs?
If you pulled out a Pog instead of a challenge coin, do you win?
Okay, so a couple of ideas. If you're going out with your buddies who are all in the military, and you do a challenge coin hullabaloo, you should bring a pocket full of Pogs. And when everybody pulls out their challenge coins, you go, ha, now we're playing Pogs, and throw a Pog game on them. Second idea, if you have a bunch of buddies who are in the military and you are not in the military, bring a slammer.
Yes.
And now you officially have the coolest challenge coin. And maybe also a pocket full of Pogs. TBHJR says the Indiana Jones save thing is weird. It might be for that game because no other Xbox games have the issue on Steam / Steam Deck for me. All my saves and games carry over. I'll give you an aside. I was playing Death Stranding, and there is an option for Death Stranding save file.
Okay.
I think it means I can import my Death Stranding save from my PlayStation.
That would make sense because I know Kojima was like the innovator on that.
Transforeign.
Yes. Wait. Well. You doubted me. I didn't have a game fact, but I got game fact. It's a game fact. A game fact. Metal Gear Solid, the HD collection, was released on the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, and the PlayStation Vita. It contained Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. If you had the PS3 version of the game and the Vita version of the game, you can transfer your saves back and forth via what Kojima coined transfarring.
There's a Metal Gear wiki page called transfarring.
This was a early version of cross-saving between home console and portable console. This predates Sony's official cross-save that they would later implement in the PS4, transferring saves between PS4 versions of the game and PlayStation Vita versions.
I remember hearing about this at the time and thinking this was really cool, it doesn't need to be called transferring.
No.
Also, I remember at the time there being things similar.
Yes.
Like that even at the time, Kojima still was not like at the forefront. There was other people doing
because like
things.
when the Vita came out, like the big controversy was like it was gonna be like compatible with like the on par with the PS3 in terms of like the games it played. If you buy the game on PS3, you get the Vita version and whatnot.
The cross save with the Vita is the reason I bought a PlayStation Vita.
Yeah.
Was because that was such a cool idea to have your game on your home console and then you transfer it over to the console that's in your pocket. And that's why I like the Switch so much, because the Switch,
you just take the whole thing.
Just pick the whole thing up and you just have it with you.
But now we have like the Steam Deck, and even to an extent like the way Xbox does it with their cloud saving. It's just there.
That's also how it is with Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I bought it on Steam, and I think I don't have it on Switch yet. But I have it on I already had it on Xbox originally.
Yeah.
All my shit was just everywhere.
Yeah.
So I really like the idea of games having this sort of crossplay.
Yeah.
But we can thank Kojima.
Yes. All praises be to Kojima. And that was your
amazing.
Yeah. Pull it right out of my butt. You skipped a comment from the Cookie Guru. There's supposedly an XCOM style Star Wars game currently in the works. I think it's called Zero Squad or something. But if they do it right, I'll be hyped because I love the XCOM reboot games, and having a clone squad that you could train up with the risk of permadeath for the trooper like in XCOM would be sick as fuck. Yeah, I think Respawn is working on that. The people who do the Jedi games.
That sounds really cool. That is a really cool idea to have a tactical Star Wars game.
Yeah.
Just like what we were talking about last
I think, Star Wars, even before Disney bought them, throw a rock and there was a Star Wars game in some weird genre that you may not have realized that it fit into. You had your standards, you had your flight sims, your first person shooters, your hack and slashes, your RPGs, your platformers, your tactical strategies, your real-time strategies, your fighting games. There was a Star Wars game for everybody. Not all of them were good fighting games, but like there was something for everybody. And I think we've forgotten that in the year of our Lord 2025.
In the chat now.
Wait, no, one more, asshole. Mad Buns Droopy Face. Will's memory for dates and facts about games, even the ones he didn't play, is really impressive. Is he like some kind of video game Rain Man or something? That would make Bob a budget Tom Cruise. That's pretty funny too.
It's just called autism.
Yes.
We've learned it's called autism.
Yes, and it's fine. Everybody has it. I don't need to be sent to a farm to run around on fields and eat vitamin A.
He turned out just fine.
Yes.
Sonic SLM with the 2 euros. My DHL courier is under my intense watchful eye. This is I'm assuming about a Switch.
Yeah.
And then Chris Mack says new NSO retro console icons just dropped. We saw oh no, these are different.
I think these are available now. You can like make them your Switch icon.
Well, I remember seeing the mouse.
Yes.
But look at the friggin' Super Game Boy thing.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool. It's clear.
Yeah. Oh, that's the Super Game Boy 2. Only released in Japan.
That's fucking sick.
And that's another one. My There exists a Super Game Boy 2 is released only in Japan. It has the correct clock speed of an actual Game Boy. The original Super Game Boy for the Super Nintendo had a faster clock speed, or the clock speed time of the processor was wrong. So the Super Game Boy 2 fixed that, added a multiplayer port, Game Link port, so you can play multiplayer games, and had more color wallpaper options.
And it just looked really cool.
Yeah. I think it's region free. So if you somehow import it, like it'll work in your American Super Nintendo.
Go ahead.
Too much power for one man.
Edward Bova, Bob and Will, what is your hot take on how CD Projekt Red got Cyberpunk 2077 on Switch 2? I'm not. We can't like fucking go through a whole interview. This is pages long. This interview.
What hot take is there? It's impressive,
and yeah,
it's cool.
We've been talking about
CD.
We were talking about Cyberpunk 2077 Road on the Switch 2 for what feels like a millennia.
I feel like the way Doom 2016 being on Switch 1 was like shocking and incredible that happened. Cyberpunk running on Switch 2 like is that game for the Switch 2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It opens the door for how developers can best get things running on the Switch.
Yeah.
Anyway, 300 bits from Scott the Sloth, who says, "Here's my donation so Will can run around on that autism farm." He doesn't need money for that.
No.
We can just let him.
No, the government. No, Robert F. Kennedy's just gonna knock on my door and take me.
Yes.
And then I will be cured.
Yes.
But our dad will still complain when there's no lemon in his drink.
I was gonna say you'll be cured and you won't know any dates anymore. All of the dates will be gone from your memory. Oops, someone's stream started downloading. What does that mean? Did we drop frames or something? I have 0.1% dropped frames. Bob, did you see Wood's video on the Legion Go S? I did not. I didn't know he posted it even. He noticed significant performance differences between the 16 and 32 gigabyte models. Yeah, I did too. I'm surprised. Well, no. Hold on. His 16 gigabyte mod. Wait. The Z2 Go one? He didn't put SteamOS on his 32 gigabyte Z2 Go Lenovo Legion Go S. So I'll be honest, I've been playing the Z2 Go 32 gigabyte Lenovo Legion Go S with SteamOS on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking good. Like the Z2 Go isn't that good, but like the games are running pretty good. They're like pretty much on par with Ally X.
Okay.
You got both models? I know. But what is the difference he's comparing? Because he had the 16 gigabyte SteamOS version and the 32 gigabyte with a whole different processor in it.
Mm-hmm.
Got the Z1 Extreme. So there should be significant performance differences.
Here's an interesting thing the Wario 64
because I also had performance differences in my video. Okay? Because I also had the technically 16 gigabyte and the 32 gigabyte.
Here's an interesting thing the Wario 64 just posted.
Mm-hmm.
Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which we mentioned in the backlog. So you can't get anymore. It's delisted. That game is getting an update to be playable on Switch 2. So somewhere in the big black hole that is Nintendo corporate, somebody still cares about this and like wants it to run on the system.
Is it just getting an update to run, or is it getting an update to do anything special?
It's several adjustments have been made to improve gameplay on Switch 2.
Okay, that doesn't mean much to me.
Well, no. Well, it sounds like when they were doing their testing, they saw that game and they're like, this game ain't working on Switch 2. They could have been like, oh, well, we're not selling the game, so who gives a shit? But
yeah,
they were like,
well,
oh, people have this game.
I think it's reasonable for them to look at their library of games and see, and all of the flagship ones, they got to do something about it.
Yeah.
And like, even though that game isn't like technically supported anymore, a lot of people have it and a lot of people play it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Cosplayed as Bob this weekend by visiting family on Long Island. Okay. One for Bob. Will your main channel be more Switch 2 focused now, like when Switch 1 released? I get that question a lot, and that question pisses me off, but it's a reasonable question. And my answer has been, I make videos on what I'm interested in. I'm going to be interested in the Switch 2. I'd imagine there will be a decent amount of Switch 2 videos, but I don't think there will be a shift in content. However, I do have a lot of Switch 2 videos planned, so maybe it could be perceived as a switch in content, but my videos are always just what I'm interested in. My videos lately have been on handhelds. The biggest handheld of potentially all time is coming into my living room in a day and a half, so there's gonna be a lot of videos on it.
So if you hate Nintendo, you can unsubscribe.
When the Steam Deck came out, I had like every other week I was making a Steam Deck video, so it's similar. Professor Rock PR says, I have been so caught up in Switch 2 news that I didn't even realize I've been driving without car insurance for the past 33 days. What the fuck? Fix that today. Definitely need to get my priorities straight, especially since I didn't even pre-order the damn thing. That's insane.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, at least in New York State, like, that's illegal.
No, it's every state is illegal.
So
maybe not Florida.
Maybe.
Florida's the Wild West.
Yeah.
God damn. Would liken the Lenovo Legion Go S to a Steam Deck 2. So did I. You know, I made a video too.
Maybe they're not subscribed to the main channel. Maybe they're just.
Maybe they're not subscribed. Maybe they're subscribed to youtube.com/beatemups and they think that it's me. Didn't pre-order it. Showing up to Best Buy at midnight, Target at 8, and GameStop at 10 to hopefully get one. That's crazy.
I hope you live within like a 2-minute driving distance of all of those stores.
I pre-ordered it from Best Buy. I'm picking it up at Best Buy at midnight. Immediately making a video after. But I want to be able to get a Pro Controller. So let me know when those become available.
They just announced Best Buy's got some weird. Oh, the Switch 2, you cannot. Best Buy is not going to
wear pants when you get
Yes, you must wear pants. Also, they're not going to sell the system online for the time being.
Okay.
You can only get it in stores.
Good thing I'm walking in there.
Yeah. Games and accessories you can get online, but not the system itself.
Yeah. Hopefully maybe they'll have some accessories there.
Maybe. I'm sure they got to have. There's Nintendo's giving them signs that say the Switch 2 has sold out. So I'd imagine like they're gonna have like a decent, wall of like things, and as long as you're there early enough, like you'll get what you need.
I'd imagine if you get to a store early on Thursday, you might be able to get your hands on one. After that, don't expect to get your hands on a Switch 2 for weeks.
Yeah,
that's my assumption.
Best Buy is Costco is allegedly going to have Pro Controllers at launch.
Yeah, here's a link to it. Cool. So if you're going to Costco on Thursday, let me know.
If I'm going to Costco, yeah.
I'm getting it at 8 a.m. because the store I ordered at is the only one around not doing a midnight launch. That sucks.
Yeah.
Bring your lawn chairs. I'm not. Well, yeah, if you get there early, I guess, but I'm hoping to roll in like 11 o'clock. Stand there for an hour and then get my Switch. I pre-ordered it. They should have mine there. That's how a pre-order works.
You'd be surprised.
I've seen the Seinfeld episode. I guess that is all. I feel like there was something else. Oh, we're going to be at Too Many Games.
Yes.
You're coming, right?
Yes,
that's
I am.
confirmed.
Yes.
Okay. Will is also going to be there.
Yes. Hey, all right.
We are doing a live podcast with the Nerd Nest podcast.
Ooh, I'll be on my best behavior.
So we're conjoining podcasts. So join that. And then immediately after that, 45 minutes after the panel, we are doing a signing.
Okay. Again, Well, that'll be on my worst behavior.
So go to Too Many Games.
Yeah, go to Too Many Games. I'll have comic books to give out if you guys want comic books.
I will have PCBs and little Game Boy cartridges, hopefully.
So more interesting stuff, but like
comic books. You're just going to have random comics?
I have like a box of comics. They're good comics, but like I have like a box of them. I'm trying to get rid of them. And rather than just throw them out or give them to a store that's going to undercharge me, I'll give them to people who fucking like me.
All right.
So there you go.
Guys, thanks for hanging out.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for chatting with us. As always, the WULFF DEN Podcast is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/WULFFDEN and youtube.com/WULFF DEN Podcast. If you can't make the show for any reason at all, we always put the archive version up over on youtube.com/WULFF DEN Podcast. So you can go and check us out over there on demand whenever you want. If you prefer to listen to us rather than watch us, you can do that as well because we're also an audio podcast on any and every podcast service such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, youtube.com, audible.com, Pocket Cast. The list goes on, but no matter where you get the show from, folks, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us because that helps us with placement on all of those respective platforms.
Go say hello to AJ for me. I will be getting the Switch 2 Wednesday night. I will be immediately making a video, posting it. I'm going to sleep all day on Thursday. And then at night at some point, I will probably do a live stream. And I might do it also on YouTube. I'm not sure. Probably. So I'm gonna play Mario Kart probably. I think Woods, I don't know if he announced that he's playing Mario Kart, but it's gonna be a whole bunch of fucking people playing Mario Kart this weekend. So join me there. See you later. Oh, wait. Bob Weave, thanks for the Prime. And I think that's everybody. Yep. Goodbye.
Bye.